Welcome to Pet Sitter Confessional, an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter. Today, we're brought to you by Time to Pet and the National Association of Professional Pet Sitters. Josie Noriega, owner of Super Paws Pet Care, talks about her journey into creating her own superhero-themed dog resort. Her inspiration for this, how she pulled together her community and reached into her network to get all of the right resources to make sure that she stayed on track. Let's get started.
So I've been a pet sitter for 30 years. Super Paws started out in 1995. I wasn't the original owner. We used to be Pets R Us. I bought out the original owner in 2006. And then when COVID hit, we rebranded. We became Super Paws Pet Care. Been doing that for a while. And last summer, I had the opportunity to start a little daycare in a private building, and I loved it. It was so much fun that I decided I wanted to have my own brick and mortar place. And then people say, start another business at 56. It's going to be fun, they said. It's been an adventure that we've been on since end of July. I'm happy to say I am sitting in my daycare. We're not completely open yet. We're just waiting on our certificate of occupancy, but everything is ready to go. Everything is set up. We have all of our ducks in a row. Our employees are ready to go. We're just waiting on the city to give us the heads up, and then we're in business.
A lot of hurry up and wait, it sounds like.
A lot. Oh, the lease negotiation was the worst thing. I would have never been able to do this without a commercial real estate agent, without a real estate lawyer, without, so many people involved in this. It wasn't as simple as, oh, look, this place is for rent. Let me call and see how much. They won't even talk to you. I mean, if you're just calling up and asking, they're like, you had to get the real estate agent to go and the zoning and everything. It was just so much more than I expected it would be. I mean, I thought when I left the other place, because we were too big, I thought, 2 weeks we'll be in a new place. No, that wasn't happening.
Well, I do want to ask about that partnership that you started with last summer. You were doing it in another location. Well, how did that start, and kind of what was the motivation behind that?
So I met a gentleman I'm a part of Master Networks networking group. He was the marketing director for a management company that manages high-rise buildings. So he told me one of our high-rises is right, next to where we were at the meeting. There's a 6th-floor BART park, and it's inside and outside turf areas for the tenants to bring their dogs to play. And we would like you to start a daycare here. So I visited, and we can do this. It was logistically was a little bit hard because we kind of had to separate our area from the tenants coming in and out. There was a pool on one side, so we had to make sure the dogs couldn't go there. It was a lot of logistics. But we made it work for about 2 months, and we started getting too big. And also we had a lot of demand from our own clients outside, because this was private. It was just for the people in that building. Well, why can't we come to daycare? We see all your videos. We see all the fun. And why can't you do boarding there? Well, there's no place to do boarding. Do you do grooming? No, we don't do grooming. So I decided, there's a demand for this. That people ask me all the time, can you keep my dogs in your home? Can you groom my dogs? I can't do that. So I decided I wanted to be able to do that also to serve the clients that I have. So I went off on pretty much on my own. I only had a word of wasn't really a written contract with them. It was more verbal. So it was like, we're going to leave it. It's just, we're just too big for you guys right now. We have too many dogs. We would have had 25 to 30 dogs a day. And it was that little bar park was really small. So it was easier for us to we'll just move on to the new place. So now, since we've been gone, there's not a week that doesn't go by that I don't get a text message from somebody over there. When are you opening? Because we're only 2 miles down the road from where they were.
Yeah.
Where everybody's waiting on us.
Oh my gosh. Well, and I love to hear that it started through a networking opportunity, right? Because I think many times I don't know, I get in my own head of like when I'm talking to people going, well, what good is going to come of this? Right? Like, why am I here? And I think what really is like, you never know. And in worst case scenario, at least you're going to meet a new person and maybe have a friend, right? Like best case scenario, new business opportunity.
So I have to say, this business here would not have been possible without that networking group. My real estate agent, my real estate lawyer, my payroll company, my credit card processor, my contractor, the guy that does my HVAC, the person that came to clean the fence for the dryers. Everybody is from my business coach, my bookkeeper, my tax accountant. They're all from that networking group. I mean, I would have not known how to do this without networking. You have to, even if it's not, you think I'll never be able to use this person, somebody who will. There's always, and I network with other pet sitters all the time too. In our area where we're close, we have little groups that we meet. I'm part of the Denton County Pet Sitters Association. We meet every quarter, and I mean, you have to network with other people. You can't just do it on your own. The networking's important. I didn't think it was until this. This made me realize I need these folks. Whether it's a pet sitter or another, daycare. I have a gentleman that's been my mentor. He owns 4 daycares in the Boston area. So he's pretty much, showed me what he does. And so my boarding model is based on his. We do crate-free boarding in a room with couches and doggy beds and an attendant, and they'll be, watching TV, just snuggling, and everybody will be in like a big living room. It's going to be like a home away from home for the dogs that don't do good in crates. And if they want a crate, we have some. That's fine, but they don't have to be in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, what do you took over the business back in 2006? What was life like before this?
I was an executive assistant.
Okay.
The business part-time. I started pet sitting in 1998 when I first came to the U.S. I'm from Canada, and I started with the original owner, and I worked part-time for her, and I was working in offices. Hated it with a passion. I'm not a 9-to-5 corporate America person. And when I had the chance to buy her out, I'm like, we're doing this. I'm quit my job and we're just going to pet sit. And at that point, I was one of the only employees she had left. So it was easy for me to just build it from there. And now I have 30 pet sitting employees, and there will be 7 at the daycare.
Wow. So other than the opportunity that you were kind of offered to be in the high rise, had you been thinking about doing brick and mortar prior to this? Or
I had thought about it about 10 years ago. There was a piece of land not far from me. I was like, this would be perfect. And then somebody bought it and put a plant nursery on it. But I never really thought, do I want to do this? But the demand that people are, I guess COVID has probably shifted the way people treat their pet. They're more into, we want them to stay with somebody instead of putting them in a facility into, a cage, a kennel, a suite or whatever. They're more into having that home style, taking care of them more like they're in their own home. So a lot of people have opened up the home daycare. Unfortunately, I don't have room at home. I have a very small house, and I have 11 pets of my own, so there's no room.
That'll do it. Yeah,
absolutely no room to board. I mean, honestly, people come to my house; they don't even have a spare room to sleep in. Every room is cats in one, dogs in the other. Reptiles here, birds there. So being able to open it here in a location where I can still make it feel like home that was my intention. I want it to feel like home.
Well, and I know many times we have had discussions just between Megan and I in our own business going, man, is this demand somewhere that we want to move in? And that's been a struggle that we've had constantly over the last several years. of getting feedback surveys or talking with existing clients and always questioning and going, is that what we do? Is that where we need to move into and offer this service? And most of the time we end up saying, no, that's not for us. We want to stay focused, or that's not where we want to go into. But, hearing you, Josie, going, why not? Right. This is a right. Like that's
That's one of the things in my meeting. Our president always says, some people ask why, we say why not. So,
and I think that's hard for a lot of people. Again, that's hard for like just me personally to say the why not. Let's go forward and do it. Like I like to have a lot more things lined up and like have the connection and things and have that fiery passion for something to go into it. And I'm sure and you have wider passions and say, well, this is a great addition to here. I can serve so many more people. It really is just about how I think we are as business owners personally, right? And like how we are able to manage that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And make sure that you have the people behind you you don't have all the answers. I honestly have never run a brick and mortar, but my business coach has had a brick and mortar for 40 some odd years. Not the same thing. He did appliance repair, but still, it's all the different insurances and this and that you have to go through permits and all that. It was great and then the cash flow and all these things that I had no idea. I mean, pet sitting is, you don't really have an overhead. You don't have a rent. You don't have, insurance. You have your insurance, but it's not like you need the business insurance. You need the pet insurance. You need the everything for the employees too. So that was eye-opening. When I started trying to get a loan, and it was like, how much do you need at first? I'm thinking, $10,000. And they're like, are you sure? In the end, it ends up being more like, close to 80, but yeah. When everything is said and done and you've paid everything and gone through everything, it was like, okay, yeah, no, $10,000 wouldn't have even paid for my sign outside. The sign was 12. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's insane the things you don't even think about, but it's good to have other business owners out there that can tell you, you're going to need this or that ain't going to work, or having a mentor really helped too.
Well, and it sounds like that's been invaluable to you as you've encountered what seems like just an infinite number of unexpected things.
Right. Little things you don't even think about. Like just last week was the dryer vent. I mean, they had not cleaned out the dryer vents in this place for years, and I could have broke down the place had I turned on my dryer. But just, having the guy come and inspect, and he goes, this needs to be done and that needs to be done, and we need a fire extinguisher there. And it's like, you don't think of these things when you think, oh, I'll just come in and, we'll bring the doggies and they'll play and we're good. No. Like having to think about storing food. I have to have 2 fridges, one for human food, one for pet food. I can't put the cans of food at home. My dog's food goes in my regular fridge, fine, my bearded dragon's worms go in my fridge. Who cares, but I couldn't do that here. I mean, this is all, everything's regulated and inspected, and you have to do it. But you don't think of these things. You just think, I want to play with dogs and put Santa hats on it and take pictures and, have fun. All that other stuff you never think about.
Right. And to know that, like, yeah, I have to have the building inspector, or sometimes it's just kind of have to pay for that information and expertise, right, of the coach, of these people. Like, sure, people give free advice all of the time, but brass tacks, when it comes down to like, no, I want you to stand in my physical space and tell me the best XYZ. Like,
right.
That really does get down to going, I may, as a business, have to pay for this information, but how valuable is that information to me? How important is it that I have a clean dryer vent when I didn't even know that was a thing that needed to be done, right? Like that's
right.
Have you heard of Time to Pet? Dan from NYC Pooch has this to say.
Time to Pet has been a total game changer for us. It's helped us streamline many aspects of our operation, from scheduling and communication to billing and customer management. We actually tested other pet sitting softwares in the past, but these other solutions were clunky and riddled with problems. Everything in Time to Pet has been so well thought out. It's intuitive, feature-rich, and it's always improving.
If you're looking for new pet sitting software, give Time to Pet a try. Listeners of our show You will save 50% off your first 3 months by visiting timetopet.com/confessional.
And everybody's telling me, groomers are going to be hard to find. They're like, gold. And I mean, I don't know. I think that the right people seem to be coming along and just joining me. Like I found a groomer. He's great. I've seen his work. We really have the same ideas. We're more about quality than quantity. He wants to do the colors on the doodle's ears and all that stuff. So we really kind of clicked for that. Like his work is impeccable, and we're named Super Paws Dog Resort. So our theme is all superheroes, and he's the biggest Batman fan. So the grooming area is called the Bat Cave, and it's all decorated with comic books and everything now, ready to go for grooming. But he's got it all set up like he's Batman. It's going to be fun, but it's also going to be, very, rules are followed. It's going to be very, very well structured. We've gone over policies and procedures and everything for just about anything that you can think of, from, a matted dog to bites, you name it. We've got books and books of procedures and all this, but thank God to ChatGPT put it all together, make it make sense. But we've spent hours, on putting all that, because policies and procedures for pet sitting are completely different. You're not in a facility. You're not bringing, dogs that don't know each other together. You're not, having to clean and sanitize and all that. It's a lot different. So our little policy book that we had is now this big. It's a lot bigger. And it's a lot of work. I never thought I would see that much work.
What was that process like? Because that's a very different, you just said, very different mindset and setup. Like, yes, running a dog walking pet sitting business, there's tons of policies and procedures and stuff. Not to say that there's not, but in a facility, there's a lot of policies and procedures, and a lot of them are different and ones that you haven't had to encounter. So, you went into this process when you were, when the started in 2006, you're coming up on 20 years in the business, and now you're basically completely rewiring your brain to think facility. Like, what was that like for you?
It's a lot of rewiring. It's a lot of work. You have to basically. I know that it's going to be something that's going to take all of my days now. My home office hasn't been used in weeks. I'm pretty much officing out of here now. And then you think, you're going to need a person that's going to be your representative in the face of the public. It's not like when you're pet sitting, your employees are the ones doing the visits. They don't see the clients. The clients are home when they're going. But here, you're going to be face to face. So you have to make sure that you get the right employee to do that. It's been a total mind shift, just making my employees comfortable. Will they have a place to eat? Bathroom wise, we had to adjust our bathroom to make it big enough so we could accommodate, wheelchairs if we needed for customers that came in. All different things like that. It's things you don't, like you said, you don't think about. But the shift has been, it's very different. It is so different from the pet sitting. And sometimes I wonder, what did I get myself into? But I'm so excited the way, to see it keep on going. It's coming together, and just having, we had furniture building parties where I had friends and family and my husband and just come in, and the groomer, and putting furniture together and putting, shelves and oh my gosh, the sink, just the dog washing sinks. They were a beast. They came from Temu, and the instructions were all in Chinese. So it took we putting it through a translator to figure out where to put the pieces was interesting. But yeah, that was a beast to put together. It took a whole day just to put those together. It's been very, very eye opening. Would I do it again? I don't know. Until I know about, money coming in, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, so what has kept you going through those, these errors, not errors, but these trials, another thing each time?
The excitement that's building around it, just the neighborhood where we're in. I mean, I'll be leaving and people will stop me on the street. When are you guys opening? We're so excited to have you here. We're so, people are already stopping me. Like, when are you gonna? Can I get my dog groomed now? Well, people are, and my clients, my pet sitting clients, same thing. We just got a puppy for Christmas. We can't wait to send him to you. Or, my sister lives in that area. She wants a job. I know people. So many people are excited about this. The excitement building for this to open has kept me going, really. My the networking groups, the Chamber of Commerce, we're part of those. All those people are like, yeah, we're rooting for you. You can do it. We know you're going to be a success. Sometimes I'm sitting there, will I be a success? I'm glad they think I will be. Sometimes you kind of doubt yourself, like, it's just going to happen. But yeah, they all think that, yeah. So they believe in me. I have to believe in myself.
That is so important as a business owner and entrepreneur, and especially when we're solo and we don't have team members to bounce off or have those hoorah or those furniture building parties. Like, that sounds fantastic. I would, I'd get an Allen wrench and just go to town. But like, when we don't have that, it is incredibly hard to stay motivated and keep going. You mentioned how, oh man, all these other people think I'm going to be successful. I guess I got to go be successful now. Like, it is a mindset stuff, and it is encouraging. It's happened to us several times where we'll go to our chamber events or, things like that. And they'll be like, you just have the most amazing, I can't believe, and I'm like, what do you mean? Me? Like, what? No, you don't even. And they're like, that's amazing. You rock it. And it's like, yeah, I am going to rock it. And it does change you. And so it's something that we should really seek out, not as a selfish thing of, I just want people to tell me how awesome I am, but as I need encouragement every day, right?
Yeah. I mean, my husband is my biggest supporter. I mean, I'll doubt myself and he goes, hon, you took a business from somebody else and rebuilt it, and then COVID destroyed it and you rebuilt it again. So I know you can do this. You've done it twice. So third time the charm, you'll be able to do it. I know you can.
Yeah. No, it really is. And so finding those people, whether it is family and friends or whether it is a network of other sitters or, another networking of other businesses or whatever it is, like, get connected there and share openly about your business. Because people want to know about it and people find it fascinating. So it's like, why not?
And don't be afraid to ask questions. I don't know all the answers. And I even tell my employees, I don't know all the answers. If you have a suggestion, let me know. I just hired a gentleman who was, he worked for another daycare. And he's like, I can put down the policies and procedures for the daycare part. And the groomer's like, well, I'm doing grooming, because I know nothing about grooming. I can look at a dog and say, oh, he's cute, but he'll look at him and say, well, the ears are too short. This is crooked. This is, I have no idea, so you have to get the people in that you trust, and don't be afraid to take their opinions and their suggestions and go with it, because everybody's an expert on something,
Mm.
So, it's even if it's kind of funny to say this, but my nephew is a coffee aficionado, and so he came in here and said, I don't like that coffee machine. We need to go get this one, and we need to put this in. You have to use this distilled water. And I'm like, okay. And he's right. The coffee is better. But just the little things, don't be afraid to take people's suggestions. Even, it doesn't, even if you won't go with it, but it's good. It's good to have other people's opinions and suggestions, because I don't have all the answers. I really don't. And, we're all in this together. I tell my employees, we're all a big family. We're in this together. And some of them have asked me, one of them, my admin right-hand person is starting tomorrow, actually. And she's like, what will we be doing? And I'm like, right now, you're just going to learn everything. Yeah. Everything that has to do with the daycare, but everything that has to do with the pet sitting also. I want you to learn how to schedule. I want you to learn how to invoice. I want you to be able to run it when I'm not available. And so she's like, oh, well, you have a lot of confidence in me. Yes, I do.
But again, if we need that from other people, how much more do our employees need that from us, right? And that what's such a gift to give somebody is your confidence and your trust. And we often minimize that when we're interacting with people or whether we have staff and our employees around us. But they recognize that, right? When you give them a big task, right? And to have somebody turn around and go, man, you really trust me. It's like, yeah, I do. And I know you're going to rock it, right? Like, now let's go.
Yeah, I have a trainer on board. She works for a foster group. She trains a lot of the foster dogs that have issues that, need to be taken care of before they can adopt them out. And she's also a good sounding board. She's worked in daycares also. And it's you have those people there. She's had suggestions for this place. Like I said, the gentleman that worked in another daycare, he's my main dog walker right now. But he'll come up with, this dog needs training. And I think, once we get open, we can bring him into the facility and take care of all these issues. And so it's good to have those people that have the suggestions. And like I said, you might not take him or might just take him into consideration or might put him on the shelf for later on. But it's good because like I said, I don't have all the answers.
Well, so you brought up a point there that I was thinking. Are you having employees cross over between the two? You are. Okay. So talk about how you're setting those expectations and working with them on that.
So when we had the other daycare, the small one, I had some that were hybrid, doing both. And a lot of them want to come back. My nephew's one of them. He enjoyed it. He's learning how to train dogs. He's trained his own service dog. She is emotional support, but she also can do like anxiety. She detects his anxiety. So she's a big dog that came to our other daycare, and we would use her to kind of test the other dogs to see if they were friendly.
Yeah.
So that's, something he wants to be in charge of. And I'm like, you did great at the other place. And then I have others that are like, I want more full-time type work. So here's your opportunity for the full-time work, because pet sitting and dog walking is pretty much always part-time. There's not really anyone that is a full-timer because it ebbs and flows, Yeah. Your dog walking maybe, but your pet sitting, right now it's really quiet. And then February, March is going to be insane with spring break. Mm-hmm. And then summer starts, so then it's going to be even crazier. And then all my college students come back to work, which is great. But then they all leave in September, and we're all twiddling our thumbs until the holidays. So here there'll be more, the ones that wanted more, a steady income, a steady job, more steady hours. They've all applied to come here and work here. So I'm taking 5 of them from the pet sitting and bringing them over here, and I've hired 3 other pet sitters to replace them. So we'll be okay.
Yeah. Well, and so you're using 2 different softwares to manage everything. Yeah. So there's again a lot more on them to be bringing in and kind of and learning that side of things too.
Yeah, the software we're using Kennel Connection for the pet resort, and we still use Precise Pet Care for the pet sitting. So, and it's a little different. I mean, Kennel Connection is I didn't expect this. It manages everything: grooming, training, daycare, boarding, and so it's like having four softwares in one, and trying to input all the different prices and all I was like, whoa, this is a lot of work.
It's one of those, those setup costs. I think about that a lot. Like anytime we're thinking about doing something new, I always go, there's going to be administrative overhead that's above and beyond just using it, right? And then you have to add in the learning curve, and then it's actually implementing it and tweaking everything and getting it set. And that can actually, for me, take up so much time that I get behind on other stuff. And then it's like, oh, was this worth it? But, I have to do this in order to get to my end result. Like I've got to see this through. You can't stop in the middle of it, right?
No, I mean, this comes with, the payment processing Clover little box, and then the phone that it is all connected, and it's like trying to I am not a technological person. So trying to just connect all of this together to the computer, and I'm like, oh my God, somebody needs to come in here and just do this and tell me it's done. But, there's nobody. It's me. I'm that person.
Oh, no.
Oh my God. Especially trying to figure out the payroll processing to have it connect to, because it's the where they scan the cards and the Apple Pay and all of this. And we just send out invoices. They get paid. Thank you very much. It's not going to work the same way. So just that process took me 2 days to figure out how to connect that little, I'm not going to call it stupid machine, but yeah, it was an ordeal. And then now getting the phone to connect to, because it's a VoIP and it has to connect to the software, and then the phone calls ring and you can answer. You can see who's calling you and answer. That's also been another, it's been fun. It's not.
Yeah. Well, so how have you, because I mean, your pet sitting business took up a lot of your time, and it's big, it's working, there's a lot of stuff going on. How have you found time to dedicate so much energy into, how's your sleep, Josie, is what I'm asking. I'm kidding.
I will sleep when I'm dead. My husband's like, go to bed, hon, because I'll be up at 2 a.m. thinking, well, if I charge this much for dog daycare, how many dogs do I need to be able to pay? He's like, go to sleep. You're going to burn out if you do this. So I've really had to learn how to, and business coach, thank God, how to allocate my time in 90-minute increments of, here 90 minutes in the morning is for the pet sitting, because that's when the dog walks start and everything. And then after that, use 90 minutes for the daycare and so on and so forth. Separate it all up, home time after 6 p.m. That's it. You're done. Weekends are family time. I have a granddaughter. She's about to turn 1. She's my first. So it's time to spend with her. I've had to learn how to manage things, and some things are, I always say, putting out fires, but some things are, big and smoldering, and others are just little itty bitty embers, and they can wait. They don't have to be taken care of right now. And I depend a lot on my employees. My pet sitting employees, some I've had for years and years. My nephew started with me when he was 15. He's now 22.
Okay.
He can practically run the business. He's doing all the training for our new people right now. I don't have to worry. I just, here's the person, take care of it, and he's getting it done. A lot of my dog walkers, they know their schedule is there. They do their thing. I checked earlier. I'm like, wow, I haven't checked the journal today, and it's 2:30. Let me check the journal. And everything was done. It was all perfect. No questions, nothing. So I really do have good employees. I can't complain. They are some of the best. I've got some really good people out there.
Yeah, that certainly does help when you have a rock solid team that is the independent go-getters, problem solvers, competent and professional, right? It's like, wow, like, okay, I'll let you go kill it every day, right? And it is part of that of us going, okay, I brought you into the company. I am now I have to trust you. And again, that gift that we get to give them through that process and going, I am going to take you up on all of your skills and all of your feedback, and know that you're an invaluable asset to the functioning of what's going on.
That was my goal when I rebranded to Super Paws, was to be less hands-on. My first goal was get out of the field, because I used to do as many dog walks as the employees. And my husband's like, you have to stop working in the business and work on the business. So that's where I started getting out of there and making sure that, anything that can, and everybody is replaceable. People think they're not, but everybody is, because I am. I mean, I thought I wasn't. I had clients that, I thought would never accept another dog walker or pet sitter. And now I barely hear from them, because they're like, oh, Haley's so good, or we love Caitlin, or, Tyler's the best. And it's like, yeah, that used to be me that got those messages, but okay. But I see it more as how can I put it? It makes me feel good, because I see it more as, I did a good job training these folks. I did a good job picking them.
Yeah.
So it does. It makes me feel confident. I've done a good job that they can actually take care of this, and I don't really have to be out there doing it.
That's interesting. You mentioned that struggle. I mean, Megan and I felt that. I think it was the first Christmas after we had started to hire, and we didn't do some of the visits, and so we didn't get the little client cookies or the client gifts that were left or the tips that were. It's like, no, wait a minute. I thought you. Oh no, but we've had to learn the same thing, and it took us a couple years to start being okay with that. To go, you know what? They're giving those gifts to them because they're doing the work, and they deserve every aspect of it. And I'm really glad that we worked hard to train that person and have kept them, and they're so reliable and they're well loved. That is a little bit of a reflection of us as a company and what we pride ourselves in, and that is amazing. I don't need a little bag of cookies whenever I get that coming back, kind of thing,
Yeah, I like seeing the replies on the journals, the 5 stars. It's always nice to see, yeah, I did this. It's still me. It's still me, but they don't always need me. I've had clients say that, if you're not the one coming, my dog, with the doggies, they love all of us. If I end up going as a backup, they're happy to see me. But if I'm not going and I'm seeing those pictures and those videos that the employees are sending and they're just as happy to see them, I did my job.
Yeah.
My work is.
That is definitely different, a mindset of I have to be doing everything, and now I can let other people use their skills that I desperately need and want in my company. That's the whole reason they're here, is to use them to the best of their ability.
Exactly. And some of them are even better than me. I mean, I'm not I'm like not the trainer. I mean, I'm good at, I can walk the dogs, but I mean, I'm not the person that's going to, train them to, I don't know, whatever trainers do, the reactivity and all that. I'm like, and I have, people on staff that's what they do. So it's great to send them out with the difficult dogs. I can walk the difficult dogs. I can manage, but I would rather have somebody that is going to train them not to pull my arm out of the socket, or not to chase the bunnies, or, not to go after the cars. We have one that we walk every day. Oh my gosh, he's wonderful, except if a truck or a motorcycle, anything that's a big noise went by, he would charge after them.
Oh.
And no matter what I did, I could not break him of that. And my dog trainer walked him for the past 2 years, and he doesn't do that anymore. And I'm like, okay, well, he needed her more than he needed me.
Hey, did you know that the 2025 NAPS, National Association of Professional Pet Sitters Conference, is taking place this very weekend, February 28th through March 2nd in Tempe, Arizona. The conference theme is Enrich and Elevate, and their goal is to make sure that they are bringing together industry leaders with session topics that are idea-focused and on a wide range of subjects. One of the topics that we're really excited about is the Saturday discussion from Michaela Vargas and her Pet Marketing Unleashed team, talking all about branding and web design for pet businesses. NAPS hopes you'll join them to foster learning and inspiration for your mind, body, and business. Register and get started today at petsitters.org. That's so cool to see that and see people flourishing in those. And now, you're in a position where you're going to be having to judge skills that are pertinent to a facility, which are not always transferable to the pet sitting, right? Like that's a different kind of mindset, mentality, skill set that you're looking for between those.
Yeah, they're completely different. And I know in my group of people that I do have some that are pet sitters and others that are more geared towards this, more towards because the facility is not just dealing, I mean, you're just the maintenance and the sanitation itself is insane. So we need, luckily my husband's a sanitation supervisor. He works for a company that bottles, iced tea and energy shots, those big machines that do all that bottling. His team is in charge of making sure that's all sanitary and safe to be used, so that we don't, humans don't get sick. So he comes up with a lot of policies and procedures for us, like just the floor cleaning. He knew exactly what we needed, which kind of mops and everything to buy, all kinds of different things like that, things you don't think, but then in your people that work for you also, I have a gentleman that was a lifeguard, and he's like, we dealt with all that stuff. We had to make sure that things were clean around the pool so that, you don't diseases and everything. So he's coming in on board to work full time inside. Another person, she was a vet tech. So she's going to do the boarding side, all of our feeding in the morning and all the meds, the administration and that, you have to make sure that you're following the right meds and everything. If you're just willy-nilly feeding dogs and not sure who's eating what, you can make everybody sick. So it's nice to have the vet tech on board, and, she can monitor if we have somebody that's insulin dependent or whatever. She can monitor this dog has been, lethargic or whatever. She'll know these things. Not, people off the street. Sometimes they have no idea. You have to have that team.
We did something similar when we were first starting in hiring. We had very bare minimum SOPs, and we went to our team, and because we had tried to hire people who had more experience, and we didn't have to train from the ground up because just Megan and I weren't ready for that. And so going to them going, hey, here's our vision for how we want to do the dog walk or the pet sit or the cat sit or this. Help us put this together. And as it's such a great thing to do because it gives them a lot of input and insight, and then you get to see what's reflected back to you. It just makes you better, right? And especially if you have people with specific experience of kennel tech, sanitation, all, health and safety, all that stuff going, your skill sets are needed here. Here's a place for them. And it really just makes everything better.
Yeah, because you often get, dog walking is not rocket science, but, you'll get the one person that, I love animals, I can do this. And they don't realize how difficult it is. You're dealing with live beings that need to be fed. They need to be taken out. You're taking care of people's houses. I've had people that have applied to do overnight and then call me up at 2 a.m. and there was a noise outside and I'm afraid and oh my God. I've never stayed alone somewhere before, and I'm like, oh boy, okay. So you have to make sure that they're okay with that. With just we had snow a couple of weeks ago, and this is Dallas. We don't get snow. So we had clients that were out of town, and I called everybody, and it's like, we are not doing drop-ins. We are shifting to overnight. Your pet sitter will stay with your dog. It's an executive decision. This is better than them not being able to get there tomorrow morning. And they were so appreciative. The clients were like, we'll pay extra, fine. I want everything to be okay. I want my dog to be okay. And it worked out really good. We even have one place that is a senior home. We have 3 dogs in the same building. And so one girl stayed overnight with one of the senior ladies. She said, we had a little slumber party. We drank hot chocolate and watched Lifetime movie until 9, and then she went to bed. She was on site the next morning to be able to walk those dogs in the building, hers and the other 2 ladies' dogs. So it really worked out well. It really, and you have to have the right people to be able to do that. I couldn't have sent anybody to say, you're going to go sit with, Miss So-and-so and spend the night there. But if it's a girl that she really clicks with and they get along really well, so she's like, I'm fine staying with her.
Throughout any of this process, were you ever, or are you worried about there being some sort of cannibalization of services, of more, of pet sitting clients moving into doing boarding and daycare and losing out on that, or kind of how are you managing, presenting both of these now?
Well, honestly, I think it's more of it's adding services on. It's being able to take care of pets that otherwise we couldn't before. Because not every dog is going to be good in daycare. Not every daycare dog is going to be good for pet sitting at home. They're going to need somebody. A lot of our clients will say, well, I'm going to have to find a facility because my dog can't be left alone 24 hours, or I don't want them to be at home by themselves at night. Yeah. Well, here they won't have to. But then the person with the older dog that is somewhat grumpy, maybe doesn't do well in a group, is happier pet sitting at home. So being able to offer both well, they'll feed off of
Yeah.
each other. They really will. And the grooming too. So I've had people ask me, can you give him a bath? No, but now I can. Back then I couldn't, but now I can say, sure, we'll bring him to the facility. We'll have him, get him all nice and pretty and bring him home, and he'll be nice and clean. So at that point, we can offer a lot of different things.
And I love that mindset and that perspective of this is all in addition to, and now you have so much more flexibility when you have that new client come in, that potential client come in. You're basically standing there with a phalanx of possibilities behind you, being like, I got you, right? Like, what do you need? Because I'm here to help.
We've had instances in pet sitting that, you go do the meet and greet and you're there for the cat and you're there for the bird or the gerbil or the aquarium. And then they have a dog and they say, oh, but he won't be here. He's going to the boarding. And it's like, oh, okay, or we're walking the dog, but then we see, oh, well, we don't need you next week because we're going on vacation and, somebody, our dog is going to boarding. So now we'll be able to say, well, your dog can come board with us. You don't have to hire somebody else, or we're not just dog walkers. We can do it all, everything, So it's, I just wanted to add on services. I wanted to be, and help the community too. I mean, we have plans to do low cost shots. We have plans to do adopt a pets here. We're in a good location. It's a storefront, and above us is apartments. So it's a nice little neighborhood. So cafes next door on that side is a yoga studio. It's all kind of different. So we'll be able to do different things where we can offer, like the adopt a pet or the low cost, what do you call it? The not spay and neuter, but the shot, the microchipping, all of those things. We'll be able to do all that here. So it still helps the community too. And it'll bring people in and they'll see what else we have to offer.
Your enthusiasm is very infectious, and I love hearing how just at every stage, your first thought, or maybe it's your second thought, I don't know, but it's just, what are the possibilities? Like, what can I do with this? And I love hearing that from you, because it really is a reminder to me that at every stage, there's always an opportunity. And sometimes we might not know what the next step is, but if we are thinking about what could happen, right, we can really work with so much. And to hear that you're already going, okay, I've got a physical place. Like, what can I do with a physical place? Community events and the free shots and the help microchipping and this and this and this. It really is such a great way to approach everything that comes across our plate, is just at least going, what else? What could I? What are the possibilities here?
Right, and it's not a big place. It's only 2,600 square feet, so we have to use our imagination. But we've come up with things that we want to do. This area, there's, like I said, there's a lot of restaurants, a lot of young professionals. They want to go to happy hour. They want to go to different events after work. So we have a service that we call it Bark After Dark, where since there'll already be somebody here anyway, they'll be able to leave their dogs in daycare till 10 p.m. So that way they can go do that happy hour, or the young families can take the kids to soccer practice and not worry about, oh, shoot, we have to go pick up that dog, or, my dog can't go to daycare today because right after work I have a meeting or I'm going to dinner. They won't have to worry about that. They'll be able to come and pick them up. We're going to be staffed 24/7 since we're doing the boarding that's crate free. We'll have staff here 24/7. So what is it to us to have an extra dog playing while mom and dad are having dinner, or watching the kids play soccer? So it's different things that we can offer that not everybody does.
If somebody's listening to this and they're interested in maybe moving forward in trying to do brick and mortar and expansion from their business, what kind of advice would you give them as they start that?
Do your research. A lot of cities are hard to get the planning, the zoning for it. And I see so many people starting at home or starting in cities, and the panic sets in when it's like, oh my gosh, the zoning people came over, they're trying to shut us down. So make sure you do your research first. That is the biggest thing. I was lucky to find a location that had already been a daycare that had been closed for a year. So I was, just coming in. I didn't have to do much to change this place. But other places that I looked at, just the zoning itself was a beast I did not want to have to go. I see so many people that, oh yeah, I do boarding in my home. It's like, ooh, careful.
Yeah.
Just careful. Do the research and make sure that you're ready for it, because it's not going to be, oh, I can walk in and my employees are going to be handling everything and I'll just come in about an hour a day and play with dogs. No, I practically live here now and we're not even open yet. And I feel like I live here. I've been here since 6 a.m. this morning. And what is it now? 5:02. I probably have another hour before I can go home of stuff I need to do here. But yeah, it takes over your life. It's a lot of work. Did I expect it to be this much? Yes. Would I do it again? Like I said, I don't know yet. So we'll see when everything is up and running and everything is going, hopefully splendidly. Then I'll be like, oh yeah, looking for the next spot to open. But
well, Josie, again, your enthusiasm is infectious, and I really love your energy around this and how you just view everything as another possibility and something to try and do, and just diving head first. And that's I love hearing that from you. And it's a reminder to me, I've got notes here. And if I don't get off this call soon, I'm going to be opening a daycare, because I'm going to say it was Josie's fault. So for those who are interested in following along with your journey, getting updates on how things progressing, and getting in touch with you, Josie, how best can they do that?
All of us on Facebook, Super Paws Dog Resort. And our website, Super Paws Pet Care and Super Paws Dog Resort, are both out there. If you look at the theme of our websites, I have the best web designer in the world. They're both superhero themed. They're really, really cool looking, comic book kind of looking things. So that's really to just follow us. Google, Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're all over the place. So just give us a like. And I post a lot of reels on the dog resort, from what it looked like before to what it's starting to look like to what's coming up to what we're doing. So our journey is all, video and all documented.
Yeah. No, it's cool to see the transformation and everything going into this, and I can't wait to see it up and running and in full operation with everything going on. So, Josie, this has been an immense pleasure, and I know you have so much on your plate, so I'm so thankful for you taking time to share today. And we'll have to do a follow-up to see how everything is going soon. Once you get
in 6 months, we'll see how it's going.
There you go. We'll set a date. So, Josie, again, so thank you so much. This has been so much fun.
Thank you for having me.
You can't do it on your own. You need a network to support you, from mentors to business coaches, real estate agents, and even your team members. Josie's discovery of the importance of having that community, of the importance of having a long-term goal in mind, of just getting to know people, not really for any particular reason here and now, but we never know the kind of help that we're going to need in the future. When we look to pivot, when we look to niche, when we look to change up our business, we don't really exactly know the resources we're going to need to do that. So build your support network wide and broad today. Not only will it help you run a better business now, but it'll help set you up for success for future decisions that you don't even know you have to make. We want to thank today's sponsors, Time to Pet, and our friends at the National Association of Professional Pet Sitters for making the show possible. And we really want to thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll be back again soon.